Hey, everybody. Welcome to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. It's Wednesday morning, Tuesday recap time here on the program. I'm Dan Besbris, and you can find me on Twitter at Dan Besbris. Please hit that like button as you're settling in. Subscribe if you like the content. Maybe you forgot to do it last time. Maybe you could do a first thing this time. And then give a quick gander. Check out our buddies over at FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook, proud presenting sponsor of us here on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Let's just review some Tuesday. I'm pooped, man. Not sleeping well these days. I think it's too dry. A little bit too dry right now. Wizards lost at Philadelphia. This game was over pretty early. You can tell based on the fact that even the young guys on the Wizards didn't get full minutes outside of Keyshawn George. But the one thing that we knew was going to happen over the last 2 days happened. And so we can just sort of like put the feather in our cap and call it a win, which was the Marvin Bagley fill-in tour. He's been outstanding in 2 games filling in for Alex Sarr. The Wizards expect to have Sarr back soon. They play again tomorrow. Washington had a really good schedule to start the week. So if you have Bagley, wait. Maybe he's still the guy tomorrow. Like, we don't know if Sarr's back by then. They were hoping he will be, but, you know, wishes and pishes or whatever that old expression is. So hang on to Bagley for another day. Let's see what happens. Maybe you get another game out of him. Otherwise, you got a good game out of Justin Champagnie. I don't really care. It's kind of the first thing he's done the entire season. Got to start with no Chris Middleton around. Again, I can't possibly be I like Justin Champagnie's fantasy game, by the way. So I don't want this to come off as me poo-pooing what he can do in a 9-cat league if given opportunity. I just don't think that this is about to be the start of opportunity for him. Otherwise, another clunker from Bilal Coulibaly, who at this point already got downgraded to head-to-head only, and he's at risk of being downgraded to streamer only. But we'll give him a little bit longer, let him hold on for dear life. Tristan Vukcevic had 16 and 4. Again, some of that was Marvin Bagley early foul trouble. Some of that was the game being a blowout. Again, Bagley's the guy that you're starting if you're streaming a center, and you probably should be. On the Phillies side, again, game was over very early. So Tyrese Maxey got 29 minutes. Justin Edwards got 33. But really nobody else got normal starters minutes. Jabari Walker doubled in 24 minutes off the bench. Dominic Barlow had 12 points and a couple of steals. He's your high floor, very low ceiling guy. Andre Drummond doubled in 17 minutes with Joel Embiid back out, and somehow Drummond back already. I mean, I know he played a little bit in that last ball game, but it seemed like he wasn't fully healthy, but apparently he's fine. And then VJ Edgecombe had his best game in a while. This is a great opportunity for me to remind you guys that I built this master list yesterday, day before yesterday. I forget when I started working on it and when I finished. So when I say things like, nothing really changes for me in this ball game, that's what I'm referencing. The link is very easy to find. It's in the show description. If you go into the show description, I think I gotta change what it says in front of it, but it says, like, in the old shows, it said, like, check out Dan's buckets, Yahoo ranks, ADP movement, weekly schedule charts, and Yahoo rank tracker sheet free. I will make that more clear in this one, that if you go into the show description, it's going to have the description of the show, and then it's going to have a couple of links to the YouTube and Patreon members, my Twitter handle, and then the thing right after that is the free Google Sheet, which, again, I shared it on yesterday's show. I'll share it again on this one. This is what it looks like. It's got all the tiered players. So, like, if you're looking for Andre Drummond, he's in the injury ad bucket. Again, he was out briefly. And Joel Embiid, he's going to be in and out of lineups here lately. But Drummond, thanks to this ball game, pushed himself back. And you guys might not be able to see his name. It's pretty small, what I've got on the screen. Zoom in a little bit. So you can see there he is. He pushes himself back into that burger board play by, one, being healthy. That was the most important part. Apparently, he didn't completely wrench his knee, and then Embiid being out. Nothing else changes for me in this one. I think VJ Edgecombe is a head-to-head guy. I don't think that he's going to be a 9-cat roto play this year. It's going to require some light punting. Paul George will probably sit out part of an upcoming back-to-back. They're trying to keep his minutes low as long as they can, and so a blowout win was a nice way to do that. And then Jared McCain at 14 and 5, but again, blowout related. Edwards, blowout related. Jabari Walker, blowout related. We move fourth. Portland lost in Toronto. Good ball game, though. A game the Blazers very well might win if they could only get Drew Holiday back. Oops, I forgot to switch back over to... There's the box score. Jeremy Grant came on late in this one. Shaedon Sharpe, good to see him finally get things going a little bit again. Toumani Camara has been playing much better over the last week. Excellent to finally see him start to see some shots go down. He had 21 points on only 12 shots. Of course, he missed his stupid free throws. Come on, Camara. You're killing me with, if it's not one thing, it's another. Field goal percent finally on the way up, then free throw percent hit the skids. Sigh. He's getting there, though. Donovan Clingan was fine. Only 22 minutes, though. Had some issues defensively in this one, so you got a little extra of really small ball. Time Lord didn't take all the minutes. He only played 16 and a half, but you're not changing anything. The only thing that, and I talked about this on the show this morning, actually, when I went through this new tier sheet that I've created. Again, entirely free, entirely for you guys, and I'm going to try to update it daily as best I can, is that the Time Lord, who had 6 points, 5 boards, and 3 blocks on 3 out of 3 shooting in this game, is a specialist. If he played in back-to-backs, he could be more than that. He could be a really nice streamer, but he's not going to play in back-to-back. So there's really no way for Robert Williams to have a good job for head-to-head leagues. Like, he can't have a good schedule. When his team has a good schedule, his schedule sinks. The best situation for Time Lord is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday 4-game week for his team, where there isn't a back-to-back. He'll play 17 minutes in each ball game, and you'll get enough, boards, field goal percent, blocks to justify it. But otherwise, there's no way to slot him in. It's a 4-game week for his team this week, but he's only playing 3 of them max. I love Robert Williams. You guys know I've loved his fantasy game for years, but there's just no way for him to get over the hurdle in any format right now. Right now, however, being the operative term, because later this season, there are going to be intense needs, especially on the roto side, but also head-to-head as you sort of build out your team and get them kind of geared up for the playoffs, for specialists. He is a specialist without schedule appeal. And that's why I created a new specialist tab on that bar, on that Google Sheet. I don't know why I'm pronouncing it Google Sheet, but I am, so screw you, deal with it. No changes on the Toronto side. It would be nice if Brandon Ingram could remember how to shoot a basketball or get a steal or a block or anything like that. He is outside the top 300 over the last week. He has fallen to number 109 in 9-cat on the season, thanks to the fact that his turnovers are quite high. 8-cat, he is, of course, still inside the top 100. And this is kind of what we talked about during draft season, that Brandon Ingram was not going to get to his ADP in 9-cat. We're just not. He scores well. He rebounds and assists okay, and that's kind of his jam. His percentages, I would love to see a little bit better, and maybe they get a little bit better. But I don't know. This kind of feels like what he is. That team is a whole lot of Scotty Barnes and not enough everybody else. But they won, and they're winning in general, so I guess everybody's okay. Someone in my Twitter mentions was like, why aren't you talking more about Jamal Shed? Because he's number 226. I know he had a 5-steal game here, but he also had 3 points and 5 assists with 5 steals and literally nothing else on 1 out of 8 shooting. People are really willing to ignore things selectively. He's averaging 5 assists a game this year. That's interesting and kind of something, but you cannot, no matter how much you want to, you cannot force a guy who's number 225 upon me. You can't do it. Not even for streaming. Grizzlies had this game in hand for 42 minutes. And then the Spurs, mostly De'Aaron Fox, took over late. Still, nice game from Vince Williams Jr. Good to see him get things back on track. Zach Edey was outstanding once again. And Jaren Jackson was absolutely terrible once again. The Grizzlies, I'd love to say that they need Ja Morant back. I think they've generally been playing better without him so far, but I don't... if Ja Morant is engaged, then they're better with him. But he hasn't been engaged. He's been sort of a whiny little whiny puss. And so the team, there's just better chemistry without him. Now, that said, you guys care about the fantasy side. Cam Spencer had 21 points and 6 assists in this game. He's actually been kind of okay lately. Not to the point where I'd be like, oh yeah, you got to like pick up Cam Spencer and let's see what happens. But he is top 90 over the last week while shooting 63% from the field. That's obviously not going to stick, especially with the low minutes. He is, I think, probably you can go ahead and drop him into a streaming bucket of some kind. I have him in my assessment board, but he's probably been good enough to call a high volume stream type of guy. That's fair. Jalen Wells, same thing. I think you can call him a high volume stream guy. And Santi Aldama, who I've said it for about 5 shows in a row now. I think he's about to fall off a cliff. Fell off a cliff. And you guys kept yelling at me that I was wrong there. And I was like, no, you can see it in the minutes. You can see the trend line because as soon as the percentages taper back off, he's going to be a clunker again. And this was the clunker. I think Aldama is at best right now, a medium volume streamer due to the Ja Morant injury, but he's trending towards just like high volume streamer only. And we'll adjust the big board if or when that happens. But I think we're kind of there. And I've been telling you guys it's coming, so don't act surprised. And then Cedric Howard at 9 points and 3 boards, and he's experiencing the magic of a rookie season. I don't see how you can possibly hang on at this point. Like, you can try to, and I've said it before, if you can, you try, but his percentage has completely fallen off. He's averaging 10 and 5 over the last 2 weeks on 38-69 splits with nothing else. No defensive stats of any kind. 1 3-pointer. He's outside the top 300 over the last 2 weeks. If you're playing this guy, he's doing significantly more damage than good to your team. Do I think he'll be better later on in the season? I do. But I also understand that we can't all just squat on terrible fantasy assets all year. I used to push that more. And I think some of it was like the prevailing style of play at the place I was at. And I mean this, I'm trying not to like shoot a shot or anything here. But at my old spot, we definitely leaned more towards the expert roto leagues, which is very much not. I'll take that's a niche fantasy angle. I still love to talk about 9cat, like roto as a whole, and head-to-head players that aren't punting. But like, if you're in a head-to-head league with unlimited games, which is the vast majority of you guys, and you're playing a guy that's posting top 330 value weekly, you're losing because of it. So I can't advocate you guys playing a losing hand just because I think it's going to be better in a couple of months. That's the kind of thing you can do. You treat him almost like an injured player in a roto league and pray. Or you go out there and get any one of the 1,000 injury replacement guys that's posting top 80 value right now. That's the way I would lean. I think that's the way that makes sense for more fantasy players. And I just, again, this is not me trying to be like a butthole to the way that I was taught or massaged to lean before. I just think it's a more niche way to present it, and it doesn't make sense for the masses. It makes sense for some. It makes sense for those of you that are playing in $25,000 expert roto leagues with a games cap and a deep bench. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. Or even like a weekly league where you don't have to worry about it as much. But for most of you that are in a daily head-to-head league where you got to play your whole bench, playing a dead asset is brutal. Harrison Barnes had one of his Harrison Barnes explosion games. He's had quite a few of those so far this year, actually. It's weird to think of how like surprisingly decent Harrison Barnes has been. But his 50-87 splits are the big reason for it. Also, of course, the continued absence of Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle. But the Spurs, no changes to anybody's valuation here. Barnes, Cornette, Champagny, Keldon Johnson are all medium volume to high volume stream guys. Again, you can check the master list for this. Devin Vassell is an injury play. De'Aaron Fox is an everyday play. And Dylan Harper is an active stash because he looks like he could be a really fun fantasy play. I just don't know that he ever gets up to like 26, 27 minutes. And if he does, it's going to have to happen quick because as soon as Stephon Castle and Wemby are back, then there just won't be that much to do anymore. Check the master list. I'll say it on that one. Check the master list on Minnesota while you're at it. Have you guys sold on Julius Randle yet? I hope so. hanging on inside the top 40 now. After that furious start to the year, he was a beast. Last month, he's outside the top 120. So, last 20, 4 days. He had a couple good games right before that. If you can get top 50, you do it. I have no other thoughts on Minnesota. It was a short card yesterday, and not a ton of valuation changes there either. All right, so this is an interesting one. New Orleans is, remarkably fun for a team that's been terrible so far this year. So Trey Murphy, monster. This game went into overtime, so that was also cool for fantasy players. What's Trey Murphy's rank right now? 20? Okay, so that one's panning out. And then across the rest of the player pool, which, by the way, is pretty much what we said. We said, don't draft Zion unless you're punting free throws. Now he's out forever. I said, I don't want Jordan Poole. You know who I got wrong? I thought Herb Jones would be okay, and he's been terrible. But at least that one you were only blowing like a 13th round pick. 12th round pick, because I told you all to take Grayson Allen in the 13th round. So you win some, you lose some. But because everybody's dead, oh God, they're all dead. There's so much interesting stuff happening with this team. Derek Queen got 39 minutes. He's a full go again because no Eve Missy and then Zion out for a while. That's neat. Jose Alvarado is playing bigger minutes, and he's pretty fantasy friendly, but right now not enough minutes to get him above. I don't know if you call him an injury stream. When I say injury stream, I don't mean play in all formats. I have two different types of lingo. I have burger guys. Those are the injury plays you play in all formats. And then injury stream zone guys are guys that are in the stream zone because of injury. Alvarado is very close to an injury burger, but he's currently in the injury stream. Jeremiah Fears, again, I mean, this is one of his better ball games. He was efficient. He didn't screw a bunch of stuff up on his way to fantasy numbers. He's head-to-head only. Saddiq Bey is the greatest fill-in on the planet right now. He's rocketing up my fill-in board. Went from 1 burger up to 2 burgers with the news on Zion, along with the news on Herb Jones. The injury board went bananas over the last day. It's a lot right now. What else? You guys asked me about Micah Peavy. Don't care. You guys asked me about Bryce McGowan's. I don't care. Nobody asked me about Jordan Hawkins, but I'll tell you, I don't care. But you got all this other stuff. You got Bay, you got Fears, you got Queen, you got maybe Alvarado. We'll see if anybody ever comes back for the Pelicans, and then we'll deal with the situation when they do. But right now, you got some kind of fun stuff going on from a bunch of no-namers and new namers. No-namers and new namers. That's fun. Hey, I don't know how much longer I'm going to drop these promos because at some point there isn't going to be a new listener anymore. But this promo might actually be for those of you that have been listening for a while, and that's the memberships. Please, if you have a couple pennies, consider becoming a YouTube or a Patreon member. Just a couple pennies. Consider it. The reason I bring it up is, did I steer you into a magical fantasy team on draft night? I really hope so, because my teams are dominating. And so I'm thinking that if you guys did the same stuff I did, your team should be really good also. But I also realize that you guys don't follow everything I did. So I don't know. Who did I get wrong? John Collins. Big miss. But there's so much that went right, especially early. I told you guys to target Shea in the early part, which I know sounds crazy, but when I say target, I mean take him at number 2. And he's been amazing. What about, I guess Harden's been pretty darn good. Maxey, Donovan Mitchell. What's wrong with Evan Mobley? I should start beating myself up a little bit more on that one, but I do think that he bounces back. Jamal Murray. Derek White's been kicking it. Austin Reeves. I forgot about Reeves. Jalen Duren's been awesome. So I'm hoping that means that you guys have pretty good teams also. And if you have won a bunch of money together with me over the years or look like you're going to, consider the 99 cents. Not because you think I deserve it, but because you think everyone deserves it. Because your 99 cents all rolled up together is what's going to keep everything I do free forever. Also, big thank you once again to our friends at FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook. Like, rate, subscribe. Please like the video. Let's do a lot of likes on this one. Let's blow it up. Hype it. I still don't know how to do it. I've been looking around to try to figure out how to hype a video, and I don't know. I don't know how. Great job, Dan. Good promo. Hype the video, like, rate, subscribe. Find me on Twitter at Dan Besbris. I hope you guys will do that over there because, again, everything we do here, we do there typically faster. But again, if you have the 99 cents, do consider it. Patreon, YouTube, whatever. And if it's on YouTube, you can post on these videos and I'll see it. I'll get not an alert, but like I try to check once or twice a day to see if members are posting. And on Patreon, you can send me a message. So you get access to me. That's part of the allure. But mostly it's about keeping everything free forever for everyone besides you because you paid 99 cents. The New York Knicks. Check the master list. Literally nothing changed. If you guys are wondering where I have Deuce, he's in my injury stream zone, guys. I don't think he's quite full burger. I'm at full burger. Sounds sexual now. It's not meant to be. Celtics won again. I keep trying to tell you guys that Boston wasn't going to be as bad as you all thought they were going to be this year. The C's are in 8th in the Eastern Conference, but they're literally a game away from 5th. And they beat the 4th place team. The 8th place team could very easily beat the 1st place team in the Eastern Conference in a playoff series. With every win the Celtics get, the odds of a shutdown get less and less and less. This is why I wasn't that worried about it. What do we got here? Jaylen Brown's been on a pretty nice run lately. He's been efficient. That's been the real key for Jaylen Brown. Efficiency has finally gotten better. I don't think we thought he was going to be as bad as he was to start the year. And now I don't know that he's going to be as good as he's currently being. He is kind of weirdly an 8-cat darling this season. Jaylen Brown's number 35 in 8-cat. 8-cat punt free throw, I think he's even better. 27th. 9-cat, he's 64th. Their turnovers have been a problem. Derek White, meanwhile, up to number 30. Doesn't even look like he's playing that well. And yet, here we go. He's still at 37% shooting for the season. It's wild, man. And, like, I don't feel like anybody's even really noticing. I'm noticing. It's about to happen. Neemias Queta, 8-6 in this ballgame, only 21 minutes. Celtics were trying some stuff out, different lineups. More Hugo Gonzalez in this one than expected. Josh Minot ended up getting a bunch of those Jordan Walsh minutes. It's all a real mess, but you're holding on Queta. He's been very, very good, like sort of up until this ball game. So Queta remains a hold in all formats. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, those are the other guys you're playing everywhere. And then anyone else is no better than a stream zone. And if you want to know exactly how stream zoney they are, again, what do we say? Check the master list. Jordan Walsh, medium stream zone guy. Anthony Simons, only high volume. Blah, blah, blah. On and on we go. And then I fell asleep. I'm human. I am but a man. Because the last game, the freaking 8 o'clock game, started after all the other games were done. The games were done. And then, gotta fire the brain up for one more. Nope, not me. Out. Like a light. No Lou Dort, by the way, for Oklahoma City. So that changed things a little bit. That pushed A.J. Mitchell back into the starting 5, where he was fine, but unspectacular. And I do think, and this is what I've said on every show so far this week, literally every recap show we've done for like the last 3 or 4 recap shows in a row, I've said, I think long-term, that combination of A.J. Mitchell and Isaiah Joe and Cason Wallace and Aaron Wiggins and Alex Caruso, who was also out for this ball game, they cannibalize each other. Without Jalen Williams and the 16 shots he took in this ball game, because he's a pretty high usage. He's not Shea, but he's going to get shots up. You have the third offensive guy for this team. Shea, Jalen Williams is number 2, and then Chet is number 3. But like this took so much off the table for whoever was lately like the third guy. So I think And obviously with no Lou Dort, that kind of changed things a little bit. That left AJ Mitchell in the burger board department for one game longer. But don't be surprised if when Dort comes back, AJ Mitchell moves down into the medium or high volume stream department, which is where you can find a lot of these other guys. Aaron Wiggins, I think, is a high volume streamer. Not Caruso, because he ain't playing in back-to-backs. Casey Wallace, I think, is now officially moved down into the high-volume streamers. Although, honestly, someday along down the line, we're going to push Casey Wallace into the specialist bucket. Where the hell is Kaysen on my board right now? Oh, assessing. You know what? But he's better than a specialist right now because he's going to play in back-to-backs. So it's like specialist plus stream. He's a medium volume stream guy, Kaysen Wallace. Isaiah Joe's a high volume stream guy. Aaron Wiggins is a high volume stream guy. AJ Mitchell right now is a burger guy, but is probably going to fall into the medium volume stream bucket pretty soon. And then for the Warriors, Jimmy Butler only lasted half a ball game. He was playing through one thing, and then he probably started something else. Hopefully this is minor because they were down by 20 at halftime. And they came back and actually made it a ball game again behind a bunch of reserves. But we were watching to see who was going to get the Steph stuff. Who's going to get that Steph stuff? It was not Moses Moody in this ball game. It was not Jonathan Kuminga, who... Jonathan Kuminga sucks, man. I don't like. He's gonna go somewhere that's gonna give him usage, and he's gonna look like a pretty good ball player, but he's not, and he's not a good fantasy player. Buddy Hield, Brandon Pajemski, not even Will Richard, although he played 25 minutes. We thought he'd take more shots. I think the answer right now is that Pajemski is probably the guy you can play. You can call him like a one burger guy, but he also might be slightly less than that. I do not trust Buddy Hield. I don't trust Pat Spencer. I don't trust Quentin Post. I don't trust Gary Payton II. Although if he started, I might. And he did start the second half for Jimmy Butler. So keep one eye on Gary Payton as well, because he's a good steals guy that sort of almost accidentally falls into a little bit of point guard-y work when he's out there. And he's a high percentage fella. But I'm not doing anything today because I don't even think the Warriors, they moved into a good schedule yesterday, but they're not playing today. So Warriors, if we're doing anything, we're doing it tomorrow. They play Thursday and then the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, back-to-back. So head-to-head, a lot of these guys could end up being useful. Roto, let's wait and see what happens with Jimmy Butler, because Gary Payton would end up being my favorite of the bunch in Roto if he got a start, although he probably plays 22 minutes and then gets hurt again. That's the Gary Payton the second way. And then Pajemski would be sort of like the next one in line if you're figuring out the actual value of the Golden State Warriors. So Pajemski, I'm going to actually move him into, I'm going to call him a burger stream right now. Moody is not. You can even still put him, you could put him in assessing, or you could put him in high volume streams only. I honestly don't really care. He probably belongs in the high volume streams. And then Gary Payton II should be on your, what is effectively a watch list. And I forgot to put him on there last night because I fell asleep. So we'll make sure we get him in there today. And that's it. I don't know how that took 28 minutes. Shouldn't have. Follow Dan Vespers on Twitter. Follow me at Dan Vespers on Twitter. Old Man Squad, follow them on Twitter as well. That's the show feed, so you know when things get dropped. Hype it, like it, subscribe to it. And again, consider the 99 cents. Just one of you a day considers it. Consider the 99 cents. It actually does make a difference. I promise you this. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, rating, and subscribing. That's it. We've already done our 2 shows for today. Back tomorrow with Buy Low, Sell High. Those are always crowd pleasers. I'm Dan for FanDuel and Old Man Squad and the Believe Network. Later.